Locate the best process server in Woodward, Oklahoma from the best private investigation agency in Woodward, Oak.
Ever wonder what process servers in Woodward and private investigators in Woodward, Oak from the best private investigation agencies in Woodward, Oklahoma do? Process servers in Woodward and private investigators in Woodward from private investigation agencies are actually vital to the very well-being of the legal world and are at the heart of the fabric of modern society. Sadly, most people do not even know what private investigators in Woodward, Oak and private investigators in Woodward, Oak from private investigation agencies in Woodward, Oak are or what they do, until they find they desperately need them. Fortunately for you and the rest of the world, the owners of our private investigation agency in Woodward have put together a series of FAQs about private detectives in Woodward, Oklahoma, and process servers in Woodward, Oklahoma. That way, inquiring minds will not have to keep wondering what a process server in Woodward and a private detective in Woodward from a private investigation agency in Woodward are or where to hire a private investigator, where to hire a process server from a private investigation agency in Woodward, Oak. That way, if you need to locate a process server or wish to locate a private investigator from a private investigation agency near me, you can find a process server and can find a private investigator from a private detective agency with great ease. The questions and their accompanying answers about Woodward process servers and Woodward private investigators from Woodward private investigation agencies are thus hereby listed below as follow.
What are a private investigator in Woodward and a process server in Woodward from private investigation agencies in Woodward?
What are a private investigator in Woodward and a process server in Woodward from private investigation agencies in Woodward? Process servers in Woodward from private investigation agencies in Woodward serve court papers and other legal documents to other persons, governmental agencies, businesses, and nonprofit organizations who are involved in some form of legal matter. Process servers in Woodward, Oklahoma also conduct nationwide skip traces to locate missing persons and to find missing people, as well as conducting nationwide criminal background checks and engaging in document filing and retrieval services. Private investigators in Woodward from private detective agencies in Woodward, Oklahoma investigate civil and criminal matter by conducting criminal private investigations and civil private investigations. Many private investigators in Woodward, Oak from private investigation agencies in Woodward, Oak also work as process servers in Woodward, Oak, and vice versa. Some of the tasks that process servers and private investigators both do, such as skip tracing, document filing and retrieval, and nationwide criminal background checks, overlap because they are tasks that many process servers and private detectives from private detective agencies both conduct. If you need help to locate a process server or to locate a private detective as you locate a private investigation agency, then you have come to the right place. You can find the best process server near me and can find the best private investigation agency near me as you find the best private investigation agency near me, ours today. Hire a process server and hire a private investigator from our private investigation agency today.
How do I hire a process server in Woodward, Oak, and hire a private investigator in Woodward, Oak from a private investigation agency in Woodward, Oak?
If you are needing to hire a private investigator and need to hire a process server from a private investigation agency, then you have come to the right place. You can locate the best private investigator and can locate the best process server as you locate the best private investigation agency with us. Yes, you have already had tremendous success in being able to find a process server and find a private investigator as you find a private detective agency. Just give us a call today at 405-593-3515 to speak with a Woodward process server or a Woodward private investigator from a Woodward private investigator.
What hours of the day can a process server in Woodward, Oklahoma, and private detective in Woodward, Oklahoma from a private investigation agency in Woodward, Oklahoma serve court papers and other legal documents?
The state of Oklahoma, fortunately, does not place restrictions on process servers in Woodward, Oak from private investigation agencies in Woodward, Oak as far as when they may serve court papers and other legal documents. Thus, a process server in Woodward, Oklahoma from a private detective agency in Woodward, Oklahoma may serve court papers and other legal documents any time of the day or night, 7 days per week. Of course, other states are not so lenient with their flexibility rules for Woodward process servers from Woodward private investigations. Some states, such as Texas, forbid the service of process by a process server in Woodward, Oak from a private investigation agency in Woodward, Oak on Sundays. Other states forbid service of process on special days, such as Election Day. As you can see, each state sometimes plays by its own rules and creates its own laws. When you locate a process server near me and locate a private investigator near me during your search to locate a private investigator near me, you need to ensure that when you find a process server near me and find a private detective near me, as you find a private investigation agency near me, she, he, they knows the laws associated with the service of process in each state. Indeed, a process server in Woodward, Oklahoma, and private investigator in Woodward, Oklahoma from a private investigation agency in Woodward, Oklahoma must serve each set of court documents in accordance with the laws and regulations of the state in which the court papers originated.
Can a process server trespass in Oklahoma?
While process server from a private detective agency may not trespass while serving court papers and other legal documents, each process server from a private investigator agency does have right to take reasonable steps to lawfully serve court papers and other legal documents. So, what constitutes trespassing then? Our process server in Woodward and private investigation agency in Woodward from a private investigation agency in Woodward will elucidate. Each city determines its own trespassing ordinances. Trespassing occurs when a person enters a property that has a locked gate and fence surrounding the property with signs which read, "No trespassing," clearly posted around the property. Even police officers without a warrant or probable cause are unable to enter onto property that has this, let alone process servers in Woodward, Oak, and private detectives in Woodward, Oak from private detective agencies in Woodward, Oak who are attempting to serve court papers and other legal documents. This is not the only circumstance under which trespassing can occur, however. Whenever the owner or manager of a property has said to leave that said property, then that person must leave or face trespassing charges. However, this does not apply to police officers with warrants or probable cause, nor does it apply to process servers who must make continued good faith efforts to get a person served at a particular address. Both process servers from private detective agencies and police officers have the right to lawfully perform their jobs. Period.
How do you avoid a process server?
Oh my gosh, really? You want to know how to avoid a process server from a private investigation agency. How old are you again? What is your maturity level? Do you want people going around trying to make your life more difficult? Just stop. For the well-being of humanity, please stop and rethink your life. Do not hide from a process server in Woodward or a private detective in Woodward from a private detective agency in Woodward. Process servers in Woodward, Oak and private investigators in Woodward, Oak from the best private investigation agency in Woodward, Oak. You do not want others to make your life more difficult, so please do not make the already challenging lives of process servers and private investigators from private investigation agencies harder.
What are the disguises process servers use to serve court papers to evasive defendants?
Process servers and private investigators from private investigation agencies can use just about any disguise necessary to get people served. Of course, no one is allowed to impersonate a police officer or other law enforcement official. Otherwise, some of the most common disguises that a process server in Woodward and a private investigator in Woodward from a private investigation agency in Woodward use to serve evasive defendants, respondents, and witnesses are as follow.
1. FedEx UPS delivery driver.
What unsuspecting defendant, respondent, or witness not like to have a non-explosive surprise package gift delivered? Sure, most people like fun surprises. A loving gift from a family member? A notification you have just won $1 million prize? Can you see just how well this disguise can work for a process server in Woodward and a private investigator in Woodward from a private investigation agency in Woodward?
2. DoorDash Uber Eats driver, pizza delivery driver.
Everyone gets hangry from time to time. Who better to deliver some late-night grub, where you do not even have to get off the couch, than a nice DoorDash or Uber Eats delivery driver? This is why this disguise can be perfect, even though these delivery drivers do not wear uniforms. By simply bringing empty containers of food in a fast food store's bag and acting like they accidentally went to the wrong address, a process server in Woodward, Oklahoma, and a private detective in Woodward, Oklahoma from a private investigation agency can often complete service of process on unsuspecting defendants, respondents, and witnesses.
3. Person looking for a lost dog.
Another way that process servers in Woodward, Oak, and private detective in Woodward, Oak from a private investigation agency in Woodward, Oak can try to serve an evasive person is by pretending to be a person from the neighborhood looking for their lost dog or missing cat. This trick works more often than you might think, especially if the process servers in Woodward, Oklahoma, and private investigators in Woodward, Oklahoma from a private investigation agency in Woodward, Oklahoma comes prepared with a leash, toys, etc., to make the ruse look more realistic.
4. Stranded motorist.
One old classic trick that some Woodward process servers and Woodward private detectives from Woodward private detective agencies sometimes try when attempting to serve evasive defendants, respondents, and witnesses is to pretend to have had their vehicle break down close to the home or business of the defendant's respondent or witness. Then, when the defendant, respondent, or witness starts to come home and does not see a process server waiting and watching, or at the door attempting to serve the documents, it is more likely that the defendant, respondent, or witness will enter or exit the residence or office to come or go. When that happens, the process server and private investigator from the best private investigation agency can easily serve the court papers or other legal documents upon the defendant, respondent, or witness.
5. Clergy member.
Remember how many times the Roman Catholic Church and Boy Scouts of America, now gender neutral with its admission policies, kept hating on the LGBTQIA+ community. But then the horny, sexually repressed leaders went around molesting boys, men, and others. Well, this had led to a plethora of civil lawsuits as well as criminal charges, and who better than to deliver these legal notices than process servers in Woodward, Oak, and private investigators in Woodward. Oak from the best private investigation agencies in Woodward, OK? To serve members of the clergy for any reason, a process server and a private detective from a private detective agency can dress up in a nice disguise as a nun, bishop, priest, or even a cardinal, if desired. As long as the process server and private detective from the private detective agency does not mind others possibly and inadvertently mistaking them for pedophiles and child molesters, this disguise can be very effective for a process server near me and a private investigator near me from a private investigation agency near me who wishes to serve a clergy member who might otherwise have a difficult time getting an appointment to see the cleric without an appointment.
6. Amazon delivery driver.
Amazon delivery drivers often bring much joy to people who anxiously await their package of goods at their home or office. Yes, our society is so consumeristic that people often feel overjoyed or at least relieved to see the Amazon delivery driver arrive with their package. By bringing an empty box or two and wearing some Amazon-looking clothing, many people will answer the door even if they did not order anything because they simply want to help the Amazon delivery driver to deliver the package to the right individual or business. Then, boom! The process server and private investigator from the private investigation agency can serve the evasive defendant, respondent, or witness. It is worth mentioning once again that under no circumstances should a process server in Woodward, Oak, and a private detective in Woodward, Oak from a private investigation agency in Woodward, Oak should never try to present themselves as a police officer or other law enforcement personnel. even as a disguise while trying to serve someone with court papers or other legal documents. This is illegal under all circumstances, and process servers and private investigators from private investigation agencies should avoid impersonating a police officer or other law enforcement at all costs. Also, it is worth mentioning that a process server in Woodward and a private detective in Woodward from a private investigation agency in Woodward should also not wear official company uniforms or sport insignia or names of actual companies. Process servers and private investigators from private detective agencies who engage in this activity risk possible legal problems from the companies they pretended to represent. However, it is perfectly to make the uniforms look similar or to modify the name some, such as Amazon or Amazon instead of Amazon.
How much does a process server cost?
To locate a process server and to locate a private detective, as you locate a private detective agency to hire a process server and to hire a private detective, you must also consider how much it costs. In general, process servers in Woodward and private detectives in Woodward from private investigation agencies in Woodward charge about $100 or so for routine serves in larger cities, with many process servers for routine service. Rush service can cost about double that price, because a Woodward process server and Woodward private investigator from a Woodward private investigation agency must put that serve in front of all the others and do it first and be able to justify it to clients who paid for a routine serve by charging extra money for rush service. In addition to the size location of village or city in which the process server in Woodward and private investigator in Woodward, there are also some other factors which affect the price and overall cost to hire a private investigator and to hire a private investigator from a private investigation agency. The owners of our private detective agency have put together a short list of factors which can affect the cost to hire a private detective and to hire a process server from a private investigation agency near me. These price-affecting factors are listed below as follow.
1. Whether or not the client has a valid address.
Many of our process serving in Oklahoma clients have valid addresses at which our process server in Woodward and private investigator in Woodward from our private detective agency in Woodward can serve the respondent, defendant, or witness at. Others, unfortunately, do not. In these instances, our process servers and private investigators at our private detective agency must locate a person or find a missing person via many different methods. The methods our process servers in Woodward and private investigators in Woodward use to locate missing kids and to find missing kids are listed below as follow.
A skip trace service.
One of the fastest and least expensive ways for our process server in Woodward and private investigator in Woodward from our private investigation agency in Woodward to locate a missing person and to find missing children is by skip tracing the individuals. Our nationwide skip tracing and skip trace service via our skip tracers and process servers in Woodward, all from our private investigation agency in Woodward. All take a bit of personal information about the person of interest, POI, and then runs it through a special system which helps determine where the person currently lives. Skip tracing by our skip tracers, private investigators, and process servers at our private detective agency is one of the first lines of defense when our process servers near me and private investigators near me from our private detective agency near me must locate missing persons and find missing persons.
B. Forwarding mail check via the USPS.
One popular and inexpensive tactic to help locate missing people and to find missing people is for a client to locate a process server and locate a private investigator when they locate a private investigation agency, who can conduct a forwarding mail check with the United States Postal Service. Indeed, whenever people move from one residence to another, they often file a special form with the USPS, which asks them to forward their mail to their new address. This information is unavailable to the public, but when you find a process server and find a private investigator from a private investigation agency to present their process server in Oklahoma license or private investigator in Oklahoma license along with a special form to a postal employee, he, They can get access to the new address the defendant, respondent, or witness moved to and use that to serve the evasive defendant, respondent, or witness.
C. USPS Post Office Box Check.
Another tactic, you can find a process server near me and can find a private investigator near me when you find a private detective agency near me to locate missing children and to locate a missing kid is to have them do a post office box check. This happens when a defendant, respondent, or witness is trying to obscure their physical address by listing all information on bills, identification, etc. as the post office box address when they apply for a P.O. box. To bust through this shield of privacy protection, you can locate a process server near me and can locate a private investigator near me from a private detective agency near me to fill out a special form and gain access to the name of the person, company, and physical address associated with the P.O. box. This method surprises many defendants, respondents, and witnesses and catches them off guard because many of them do not realize that process servers and private investigators from private investigation agencies have access to such otherwise private information.
D. Mailbox Check.
Without touching the mail itself, you can locate the best process server near me and can locate the best private investigator near when you locate the best private investigation agency near me to peek at the mailbox to see the name is of the person the mail is addressed to. If all the mail states that it is for the person of interest, POI, the process server in Woodward, Oak and private detective in Woodward, Oak from a private detective agency in Woodward, Oak is looking to buy, then it is likely that that POI lives at the stated residence. However, if the mail is devoid of the POI's name, then it's very possible that the POI may not live there, and thus our process servers in Woodward and private detectives in Woodward from our private will utilize the other methods to find missing persons and to locate missing persons.
Checking with neighbors.
One way for our process servers in Woodward, Oklahoma, and private investigators in Woodward, Oklahoma from our private investigation agency in Woodward, Oklahoma to find missing kids and to locate missing children is simply check with the neighbors to see who lives at a house in question. If multiple neighbors state that the POI does not live at that address, it is likely that that person just does not live there and that their statements are not a cover-up.
F. Actively monitoring social media.
Another tactic to help find missing persons and to find missing children is when you hire a process server and hire a private investigator from our private investigation agency to actively monitor the social media accounts of persons of interest, POIs, to see where they are at, with whom they are doing things, and the dates and times they post. By actively monitoring these social media accounts, our process servers and private detectives at our private investigation agency can try to find missing people and to locate missing people.
2. How many defendants there are.
The number of defendants that our process server in Woodward, Oak and private investigator in Woodward, Oak from our private investigation agency in Woodward, Oak must serve also influences the cost of service of process in Oklahoma. The more defendants our process server in Woodward, Oklahoma, and private investigator in Woodward, Oklahoma from our private investigation agency in Woodward, Oklahoma must serve, the more affidavits of process server they must fill out. The more affidavits of process server that our process servers and private detectives from our private detective agency must fill out, the greater the cost to hire a process server and to hire a private detective when you locate a private detective agency near me.
3. The number of pages to print out.
A process server in Woodward, Oklahoma, and a private investigator in Woodward, Oklahoma at our private investigation agency in Woodward, Oklahoma does not charge clients for small amounts of printing for process serving in Oklahoma. However, whenever our clients send our process servers in Woodward, Oak and private detectives in Woodward, Oak from our private detective agency in Woodward, Oak more than 9 pages to print out for process serving, they will a small per page fee for the entire set of documents to help cover paper and toner charges. You would be surprised at how expensive toner and paper can cost when you add it up day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Our Woodward process servers and Woodward private detectives from our Woodward Private Detective Agency do not nickel and dime their process serving in Oklahoma clients. But when the number of pages to print out become a high number, our process servers in Woodward, Oak, and private investigators in Woodward, Oak from our private investigation agency in Woodward, Oak must charge extra just to ensure that the private investigation agency stays profitable.
4. Whether document filing and/or retrieval is necessary.
Sometimes our process serving in Oklahoma clients request that a process server in Woodward and private investigator in Woodward from a private investigation agency in Woodward to file and/or retrieve documents on their behalf at court clerk, police station, etc. Our process servers in Woodward and private investigators in Woodward from our private investigation agency in Woodward are more than happy to perform this special service for a small extra fee.
5. Whether a criminal background check is needed.
Sometimes our clients or even our process servers near me and private detectives near me from our private investigation agency near me require a national background check by a process server and private investigator from a private investigation agency near me. Criminal background checks can show much information about another individual that can prove insightful to being able to locate a missing person and find a missing person, as well as their associated criminal charges throughout the United States of America, USA.
6. Whether waiting and watching siege services are required.
Some defendants try to be especially slippery, going into and out of their homes and places of work very discreetly and not very often at all. In these cases, some of our process serving in Oklahoma clients choose to find a process server near me and find a private investigator near me from the best private investigation agency near me to wait and watch for the defendant, respondent, or witness to come or go from a residence or place of work. This method can become expensive, but it can also work very well in the long run because eventually people must come or go from their home and office.
7. Speed of service required.
As noted earlier, the speed of service also affects the cost to hire a process server and to hire a private investigator from a private detective agency. The quicker our process server and private investigator from our private detective agency must serve the court papers or other legal documents, the more it will cost. Some of our process servers near me and private investigators near me from private investigation agencies near me will even serve court papers and other documents on a moment's notice on a major holiday during a blizzard. For the right price. Please subscribe our channel and share with your friends. Contact us today at 405-435-8355 or email Michaela at @ogpslegal.com for a free consultation.